They just hand it off down to us.
And then we make it work. You know,
you don't get hand-me-downs. You guys get brand new shit.
Oh, are you kidding me, man? We get all the hand-me-down stuff. Are you kidding me?
Well,
Like,
you guys are the stepchildren of the military.
That's fine, man. We make it work. We make it totally work.
You know, my cousin was in the Navy for 26 years, and he's like, yeah, them Marines, they're just bellhops for the Navy.
Oh, no. We're their bodyguards because every time they go anywhere into port,
Go ahead.
When they go into port, it's like they start mouthing off because they got a couple of Marines with them. Yeah. Then what happens?
Hey, we all know that the Army and the Marines are the ones that fight the most.
Yeah. The Army, usually it's other people, but, Marines.
No, we just fight everybody. We don't discriminate.
You don't discriminate. You hate everybody equally.
We just hate everybody.
So we're live right here in Utah. I'm sitting here with the CO and the Sergeant at Arms of Cvma.
I got to take care of some chapter business.
Cvma Utah 49-1, the very first chapter that ever started in Utah. So I'm Brett Gash, a.k.a. DJ BFG, or like what the CO said one day. He said, I was T-Rex because I can't move my arms very well. Man.
Pull my hair.
So it's all good. So the Sergeant at Arms is going to stay off camera because, it's just what he's doing.
You know it.
The table's too high for him.
He doesn't have a booster seat.
We start with the short jokes already.
Yeah, right. It's all good,
you guys
man.
want to start with the Marine jokes? I'm fine.
It's all good.
Jokes,
you were saying something about, does the Army get raped in basic training or something? Is that what you said?
Well, no. It's like every time I turn around, it's some gay dick joke, and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm kind of funny. I mean, you guys did something happen to you?
Yeah, what happens is
you get abused?
When I went to base training at Fort Knox, and they have Marines there learning the tanker thing, and what they do is they bring all the Marines over and let us rape them.
No, I thought they were guarding the chow hall.
No.
Yeah, that too.
When you guys can't figure out how to use something, then that's when you call us over.
Yeah.
And then you break it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how we figure out how things work. We go ahead and break it, and then we blame it on you guys. We're just like, well, hey, no, it's that Army guy over there.
Yeah, did it, not that's me. Why they're taking the tanks away from the Marines.
Well, you give us
can't handle the boom.
No, you give us something like that can destroy just about anything on the planet. I mean, what are we going to do? Because we hate everybody equally. So,
right?
Yeah, sure. What are we going to do? We're going to go somewhere and take something like that, destroy us. Yeah,
definitely. So, why don't we start off with you, K-Bar, and fill us in on a little bit about what you do and what your position is and what your duties are and stuff for the chapter.
Well, I wrangle the cats. I mean, like this guy off camera over here. I mean, as the CO for most, for 491, any CO, the biggest thing we got to do is, we got to point the chapter in the right direction. I think everybody knows kind of what my mission statement is, what I've been running on since I took over. The chapter comes first, the members come first, then then the AO. And then anything beyond that is kind of out there in the peripheral of what we need to take care of for veterans in the state of Utah, which then working with the other COs, working with the state rep, that's where we just coordinate effort and make sure that veterans are getting what they're needing.
You get lost quite a bit too, don't you?
So what?
Well, it's that damn GPS, man. I mean, every time everybody's like, "Oh, the GPS is gonna get you killed," Well, you know what? It just keeps everybody on their toes.
What year did you actually become the CO?
About 2-3 years ago.
It's been at least 3.
It's been at least 3. So I finished off from a previous CO's. The previous CO was going over to Iraq, so he wasn't going to stay with the chapter. Wasn't going to stay with CVMA. We need to take things in a newer direction, and for everything that we kind of had on the books in the works, we needed to level set, and from there, I think we got the right officers in the right positions, the right members as officers in the right positions, and everything. And we've just been successful ever since. I mean, like I said, it's the chapter, it's the members. It's all about what the members want.
It's all about how it grows too. I mean, without change, there's no growth, right?
Yeah.
And I think we grew and changed in a positive direction both times. when it first started, I'm an original member from it. And when it first started, there was a CO for a few months, and then there was the previous CO before you. And it was going in a good direction, but then I don't know, it just changed, and I think it changed not for the worse, but for the better. Looking back, I don't think anything was really that fucked up the first time, but I think it's a lot. There was
the first F-bomb. It wasn't me. I wasn't the first F-bomb. So,
but I think it's not only gotten better, but it's gotten more fluent. I think it runs a lot smoother.
There's always lessons learned. Yeah, there's lessons learned.
The outside perspective of it looks like that.
I one of the things I don't think any member hears, but anytime that there's somebody around us when they see us ride, or we're pulling in somewhere or whatever, or they start to ride with us as a veteran themselves, and they're trying to make that decision whether or not they want to wear the patch.
Yeah, right.
The first compliment they always give is like, man, you guys ride pretty tight. You guys ride good. Everything for what we do for a motorcycle association.
Yeah.
The safety briefings, everything we do, and I got to rely on other officers to make that happen as well. It's not all me. I just kind of point in a general direction, try not to get us lost, and these guys make it happen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Me, I mean, ever since I've been with the Cvma since like 2009. I was in a chapter out in Kansas, but I don't know why I never rode always in the pack. I always take the back. I don't know. I just like to watch all the bikes just go.
Behind is what he's
I like to watch you all. I like to feel your stank.
Hey, you don't want to ride behind certain people though.
No, I don't like to ride tight. I don't.
I like it nice.
I never have.
The comfort. Ride your own ride.
Yeah.
That's
why I just say go ahead.
Because I know somebody's right.
When you guys fall, I'll stop and pick you up.
Yeah, and honestly,
or if someone breaks down, I'll help.
No, we always say ride your own ride.
Yeah,
like we get people that come that are pretty timid at first, and you can tell if they've been riding a while or if not. We always put them in the back anyway, so that myself or my road captains can feel them out. Because I mean, we've had some people that have come on rides that, it's been difficult.
Oh yeah.
So, but for the most part, I mean, we're a tight knit group, and when we ride, we ride. That's what it's all about. That's why most of us joined, was to ride motorcycles,
Yeah, I hear you.
The first ride that I went on with Cvma, the very first ride I was on, unfortunately, due to, circumstances outside the rider's control, there was, an incident. And I can tell you, this guy, he tried riding this thing out of this turn as best he could. And I mean, talk about fighting for his bike himself, his well-being, obviously shooting out of the. He rode that thing, and then unfortunately the end result, he went down. That we stopped the ride. We got him to the hospital, and from there, the rest of the afternoon, we all just sat there in the waiting room, just waiting to find out what was going on with him, and nobody was going to go anywhere until we found out whether or not he was okay. And even in my circumstances, last October, I went down.
You did?
Really? Yeah. Did you notice the new paint job on the bike? Yeah. I think the new paint job kind of gives it away.
You notice that Marine just said he goes down.
No, he does.
No. I'm just playing. Is that a bad memory you guys keep having?
No, dude. I worked with
he's getting hungry.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's what it is. I'm getting.
Why don't you give those two here?
Here, we'll just put them right here on your microphone right there.
I was saving those for later.
I just kind of give me
getting grumpy.
You guys keep talking. I'm just gonna have me a little snack right here.
Do you know a guy named Brent Bauer?
Brent Bauer.
He's a Marine. He was a Marine.
Always Marine.
He always tells me you can't out-gay a Marine.
No, you guys take the cake, man. I mean, the amount of gayness that comes out of most Army guys is like it come from your childhood, boot camp. I don't know. Was it like the drill instructor was like, just go to sleep and let it happen?
But I never said that when I was a drill sergeant. Never would I say that.
No.
You just look the other way.
You did. I'm right. I do. What happens? What I don't say I see happens didn't happen. So
here's the cool thing about, out of all of the branches,
Army's the best.
Well, I know you guys tell yourself that, but most of the time, no matter what, at the end of the day, it's always cool to listen to everybody's stories and everything like that. And the the one thing I honestly loved about the CVMA is just that being able to make those lifelong friends. It's when you checked in to you check into a unit and you don't know anybody, but by the time you leave, those are lifelong friends, and that's what really the CVMA does. I mean, I didn't know you guys, and pretty much for the most part, every time I've had a birthday or party or something over at my house, you guys are there.
Yeah.
When someone needs something moved, come help, kind of pick me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Then that's really what it is.
I remember the first day you came to the chapter. My first impression was you were sitting back just watching, scoping everything out.
Well,
it's just not in that sense. Like you were like, I wonder what kind of people these really are.
Yeah. No, I was being.
That's the kind of the look you had on your face.
I was being polite.
Mm-hmm. You always are, though, most of the time.
But I had a plan.
Yeah.
To kill everybody in the room. I mean, that's kind of.
And that's what you look like.
Yeah, just kind of, and what's funny is now that our state rep, good old Six, I mean, me and him patched in at the same time, and this is hilarious. We're there at Temp Harley, and we're filling out the application and everything. We're kind of looking at each other, and I see him write USMC up there, for his branch of service. And
he got a hard on.
No, I was just like. Just looking at just looking at Six, I was like,
he's like, you look good in them pants. Them chaps are even
there
better.
It goes again, man. I mean, is that what happened to you guys?
No,
it's all good, man.
Finish your story.
Okay.
Hey, don't worry about it. Just let it happen.
Shh, don't tell
it. Right.
So no, I look over and just, I mean, here, I don't know, March time frame. Weather could have been better, but. Yeah, the next thing you know, I look over and I kind of making my evaluation, like you said, like I do. I always kind of like sit back, a little bit. But, Alex has got he's got his shirt tucked in. He's got a belt.
You're like officer.
I was like, yeah, I did it right. I was like, officer.
Hey, lieutenant.
No, well,
no, he's a colonel.
Full
bird.
At that point, it was kind of funny because I was just like, what's your story, and he goes. Yeah, I was, JAG out there, 1st Marine Corps Division, and I was like, yeah, they don't put anybody, like colonel or colonel above, that's who runs those departments, and
right. But they don't just put stupid people there either.
No.
They put squared away people there most of the time.
Alex, you know what? Here's what's funny. Out of the entire time that I've known him, the man has never worn his rank, not one time.
No,
not once.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like him.
If you ask him.
But he does ride an Indian.
I know. We
and it's scratched.
And the funny thing is, it got scratched with in less than a month. I mean, he's all proud. He waited for
Sorry, Alex. I'm sorry, 6.
He waited for 6 months, and all of a sudden he's like, on the first ride, we're like, hey, it's scratched. And he goes,
yeah.
He just kind of has to bow his head, and it's like, yeah, they're the.
No, that's the good thing about our chapter, though. Like, it doesn't matter what service you're in. Like, for the most time, when somebody comes in new. Right off the bat, if they say, "Oh yeah, I was a Marine," I'm like, "Ah, crap, we got another one."
Yeah, we got a.
But and then the same thing, we both Army and Marines, we just make fun of Air Force, right, Sam?
Yeah, we got a. I can't wait for the first Space Force dude to join the CVMA.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for a long time.
No. You never know.
I mean, we might have some Space Force like a World War III. For that to happen,
I'm totally picturing.
Wait, what if they get deployed to Afghanistan right now?
In the Space Force?
What was the James Bond movie where they were fighting in space? And I'm just that is. I'm sorry, but the guy that shows up.
Most of those guys aren't going to ride motorcycles.
No, they're
on like Vespas.
Yeah, no, they're going to be too tech. They're going to be techie guys, man.
You're taking Air Force and then you're making them gayer.
Wow.
Sam's got those are fighting words for Sam.
Yeah,
Next time he sees me, he's gonna be like, "What'd you say about Air Force?"
I'm gonna totally just come here, little man. I'm gonna put you in my pocket. I mean, Sam is that kind of big dude. I mean, he'd put you in his pocket.
Fucking huge dude.
Space Force, man. I tell you.
No, but like in the CVMA, it doesn't matter. That's kind of what everybody joins and they find out about, that we're all combat veterans. That's what separates us from regular veterans.
Cheers to that, brothers. Yep.
Like
Bruce.
It's not like you're just. I mean, I'm not trying to downside veterans because we have a lot of those, especially in Utah. I mean, there's a ton of veterans, but what sets us apart is we're combat veterans.
Right.
It's a whole different ball game when you start getting into it. So when people join the CVMA, right off the bat, you automatically know, hey, this person's been in combat just like I have. You have something else to share. You're not just a veteran.
Right. So one of the guys in the chapter, he's helping me frame the basement. Muff. I gotta give him props, man. The guy knows what the hell he's doing, man. I mean,
dude, his wife is so pissed at us.
Oh, you know what? I honestly don't think she cares, man. It's just kind of like, yeah, if you're having fun, but he's over there, and you know, we're down there, we're talking, we're telling stories, we're talking about stuff, and you know, you can tell at a point in time when someone wants to tell you everything about their experience. And we've all had that where someone asks that stupid question. Yeah. About your deployment.
No stupid question.
And you're just sitting there going, and I'm like, you're just waiting for him to ask. And
have you ever killed somebody?
Yeah, just
that question sets me off.
No, I didn't kill anybody. I mean, when the bullet, I don't know where it went that I shot, but you know, I mean, it's hey.
Yeah, I'm in the artillery, so you know.
So yeah,
I killed lots of people.
I guarantee I killed someone with an artillery shell because I demolished a house, a mud hut.
No, I didn't shoot any houses.
But when you're sitting there just hanging out, and you can tell right there as a combat vet, they want to tell you, but there's just details that none of us just.
Nah, you just leave those out. Yeah, that's the good thing about being a combat vet. Like, we're not gonna bring that up because we don't need to. Right. You know, we share something that's common, and like I can tell you, being in 491, I started out at down south at the detachment, and it's now 494. And coming back up to 491, and like we are the mother chapter, so to say. We were first in the state, you know. Yeah. We have the majority of the members. There isn't anybody that doesn't come, that eat patch or no patch. And I mean, they'll give you a hug, they'll shake your hand. They want to be a part of something bigger.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that.
And that's what 491 has set out to do, is to be something bigger.
Yep.
Than just regular combat vets.
Than themselves. You know.
You go down to admin and you're processing out. And at that point, you're not part of the club anymore.
No.
You're really not. I mean, you're walking around the barracks. Everybody knows you're a short timer. And then on your last day, you got DD-214 in hand.
Great day, man. Great day, but it sucks too.
It does. And you realize that the guys that are still in, they're going to the left, and you're not. Nope. And you're not part of the club.
Did you retire, Howard?
No, I got out.
He got kicked out.
How long
homo stuff.
How long have you been in?
Too long. See how many times he's been raped? I mean, it's wearing on.
20?
I've been in. Well, let's see. Next April, I'll have 20. I've got 20 right now, but I took 2 off on the IR when I first got in, so I owe those 2. So next April, I'll have full 20, but I'm still trucking along. I'm gonna stay in until they kick me out.
So was that all like reserves, National Guard?
I've been in the Guard. I've been in the Guard the whole time. Ooh. I've been active duty for the last. I've got like 7-8 years of AFS, so active federal service.
Yeah, I know what that means.
I'm just throwing. You were throwing some acronyms out there earlier. I got him to say it. So, but yeah, I've been. I just 7-8 years of active federal service. I'm still active duty right now. I'm here in the state of Utah. So
nice.
Yeah.
When you think you plan on retiring?
I don't know. Let's just see. Right now, I work for the Homeland Response Force on ADOS. It's a pretty good gig, and I like what I do. I like being around the Joes, and I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything. I want to get into me. I'd rather talk about Cvma, but yeah, I don't plan on hanging
bring this
it up
back around. So
soon.
you were the first time I met you. You were transferring back up to.
No, we met down in St. George at a ride. You came down. You were the PRO at the time.
Yeah,
okay. I was in the detachment, and I had a wedding or something that day, so I had to hurry and go and do that, and then get on my bike. That's when I was riding Screaming Mimi.
Oh, that's right, that loud son of a bitch.
And we rode down, and I met you at the Zions, and you were. I was like, man, this guy looks old as shit.
That happens when you're 20.
No,
or 30.
he didn't have the beard. It wasn't as thick as it is right now. No, but that's where we first met.
Yeah, and then it was over at Kelly's. I think it was Reaper's birthday.
Yeah, so I left 491, the detachment. I went to New Mexico for a couple years to work on my master's degree, and I actually transferred to a chapter out there, but they were a bunch of Air Force guys, and they just didn't like Army guys. So I came back to Utah, and that was the first time. Like right when I got back, I transferred right in just without skipping a beat, and that was at Kelly's party. It was the barbecue that we did for the chapter.
Yeah, it was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 18 barbecue over Rupert. But I mean, since then, I mean, you know, we've had turnover. I mean, our numbers go up and down, ebb and flow.
Mostly up, man. This last 2 years has just been phenomenal for the chapter.
What's funny is 3 years ago, you know, kind of start of the ride season. You know, if we had what we call the STP, you know, I mean, we all know what that means. You know, it's the same 10, 12, 13 people. It doesn't matter. Our numbers were kind of low.
Yeah.
I think everybody was reeling off of, you know, the level setting that I wanted to put in place.
Yeah.
And then from that, our numbers have just, and this would absolutely just blew my mind for a January chapter meeting.
Yeah. Oh, just like
this past 3 years later, you know, I mean, it took time.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was trying to feel what the chapter had to offer.
Yeah.
And communication increased. We put things in place that just allowed us to be a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
You know, it's and here we were January 2021, and you know, I mean, I honestly think there was like 30 people there.
Yeah, we had 30 plus.
Yeah.
I think the biggest one we had was last year, a couple of months before January.
That was the one out there at the outside, the last one.
Yeah, and there was
like 50 or 60, almost 50 people there.
That
Easy.
was insane. But then, like, our honestly,
we had like 4 or 5 new guys that weren't even patch members.
No, we had seven.
We had 7 guests, and out of those 7 guests, we had 5 of them.
Yeah, because I know Greg.
Frado.
I used to work with him. Yeah. There's 2 guys there that I used to work with. I knew.
Yeah, C-Note was
there. They're now members.
Yeah, C-Note
Topless, I think, was there, and
Topless and
Tom were there.
Tom were there.
I mean, the last 6 months, honestly, we've had some solid people come into the chapter, like solid guys that just mesh, and they get in on our group me, and they're coming to everything. I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, I love it. I love it when we get new people there.
That's what takes me back to the chapter comes first. So whether because if we're not communicating with one another, we're not hanging out with one another, then we're not going to have chapter meetings together. We're not going to have, you know, rides together and stuff like that. And the nice thing to see over the last 3 years, you know, the number of members that have gone up and gone to a national event. You know, they went up to Boise. You know, they went to nationals. We've had you know, people hitting their regional, getting their life membership.
Yep.
I mean,
there's quite a few this last year that got life.
Yeah.
You know.
Nice.
So it's
that your phone
good.
vibrating, man?
It's his dildo. It's under the table.
Yeah.
He's gonna say, "There you go again, Army guy, talking about gay stuff." So,
well, you guys, I don't have to say anything. You guys, just,
we're just regurgitating what the CEO says.
No.
You've ordered us to repeat what you've said.
No, absolutely not.
I got an honest question. Where do you see in the future? What do you see for this podcast and the members of CVMA in Utah, or guests that we may have on? What direction do you want it to be? Do you want it to be just like chapter specific? Do you want guys coming on telling their stories?
Yeah.
I mean,
the why I joined CVMA.
Yeah.
Well, that's about a 5-minute thing.
But no, what do you want to get out of it though?
Well, and here's the other thing. You know, and I will point the finger at Double Dutch for bringing up the concept of this isn't a merit badge. This isn't a patch that you can buy, go to. It's something you have to earn. And I'm going to transition to the conversation just a little bit, brother to brother.
Right.
I mean, that is the ultimate goal.
That was an awesome event last year, by the way.
I mean, we only have 4 people in the chapter. 4. Yeah, Alan.
Oh, Alan, that's right. Yeah.
I mean,
he wasn't there to get it, but
he wasn't there to get it. Yeah, we got to make sure he gets it. But we're sitting here working towards something, and I really hate to say that, you know, it's somewhat of the kind of the boys. I mean, we're not Boy Scouts by any means. I mean, you know, the military doesn't create choir boys or Boy Scouts by any means. You know, we're you know, we are who we are as military professionals, and but bringing something into the chapter, the way brother to brother has come in, and members, you know, just going out there and taking the effort beyond what any chapter officer or mission statement that we want to put in place as the chapter, the individual going out there and doing something to earn their brother to brother.
Yeah. So let's back up a little. this happened like a year and a half ago. I think we were over at your house, and we weren't looking for a new direction for the chapter. We were just looking for something to focus on in the chapter. Yeah, we're trying to gain participation. And
you brought up what was the guy that was he was flying flags over in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
and bringing them back, and then we were auctioning them off and stuff like that. And then there was the traveling flag.
Yeah,
there was a guy that was trying to go from one CVMA chapter.
No, that's something we'll talk later.
Remember? Yeah.
No, but brother to brother was the concept, and we were like, hey, what can we do to elicit participation in the chapter, but really focus on our AO and focus on veterans, right? So that's how brother to brother. I mean, that's the concept that we started, was brother to brother.
And it just grew from there.
Then one night, I can't even remember how we came up with it, but like I said, hey, I got this idea. I got, the whole thing laid out. I was trying to plan a poker run and some other stuff, and Howard put me in check, and he said, no, we want to focus on the chapter. We want to focus on the chapter. And I said, well, we're already focusing on brother to brother, but that's not something that is going to go out. Like, that's chapter members only.
Yeah, it's internal.
Yeah, so, and we're not selling these patches. We're not giving them away. And I came up with this thought. I was like, I am my brother's keeper. And I don't know where it came from, and I had this big logo in my head, and I was like, you know what? That's something that we can use for brother to brother, right? That's something we can push as a motto. Because
the thing that we were talking about is that we can come up with ways for a member, and as far as the chapter and the officers of participation, we can come up with a way to support the member to try and earn their. If you're going to put something in place that they can earn, then there's the one thing that can't ever go away, and that's kind of money and
cost. And
it's cost. We're a nonprofit, and so for us to have someone come to us and say, and like last year, I want to do this roofing project. If we don't have the funds, and that's kind of where we said, the light bulb went off. Yeah, and it was just like, okay, if you've got a project.
How are we going to fund it?
How are we going to fund it?
We're not going to go out and like solicit people just to give us money. So IMBK was born, right? And the concept of, okay, we've got this patch that we've made. Now we can tie this to everything. So we have an event for it every year. We have a fundraising event. So we do our poker run. It's the IMBK poker run. And then, we go other places, but we're pushing IMBK out. That's something that you don't even have to be a chapter member to get a patch, right? You can buy it. And
it shows level of support.
Shows your support, right? Yeah. So everything that we do for IMBK feeds into brother to brother, right? So if somebody comes to us and say, hey, I want to put a flagpole up at my neighbor's house. He's this World War II veteran. He's got this dinky flagpole on his house. I want to build him a flagpole. Cool. Plan the project. Bring it to us. We'll see what we can fund.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, it takes everything that and honestly, all the preparation and everything that you learn in the military, that is just taking, that is just taking the military concept of taking a group of men, women, and taking them and saying, look, here's the order, here's how we're going to march, this is the direction, this is the logistics, let's put it all together, and this is what we're going to do, and carry it out and make it happen. I mean, and that's what happened last year.
Last year, like,
I wanna take a couple of seconds, and I wanna shout out some of the guys that are listening right now.
Sure, hit it.
I'm betting Paco's on there.
Their names are on here, and if I screw your name up,
Music Man,
my bad, man. We got Nathan Metcalf,
Music Man,
James Burrows, Jeremy Reagan,
that's Paco,
Tony Smith, and we got
Preacher,
good old State SOA, Jarrett Simmons.
Oh, Grumpy's on.
Yeah.
He's probably.
So we just wanted to shout you out real quick. We see you. We're not chatting much in here, but hey, we got you. You got to lean in a little more there, buddy.
No, I don't want to. I'll break the camera.
Yeah, it's all good. He'll get in there over Howard's shoulder here in a second. But we just wanted to say, hey, we do see you in the chat.
So we can't talk shit about Grumpy, right?
Yeah.
No, you can talk shit about whoever you want. Right. Just know it comes back.
He's giving me the bird right now.
He is.
No, he's sitting back going like this.
Yeah, it's a little longer than yours though.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, wait till I see him next time. You know what I'm gonna tell him?
I taught you everything you know.
I taught you. You would.
Love you, Grumpy.
He's a good dude, man. I tell you what, when you talk about the CVMA, whether it's a project we're doing for the chapter or it's just stuff that we're out doing together. I mean, Grumpy and I last year, along with Trauma.
Yeah, you went on that long ride.
Yeah, man, that was 12 days out on the road, and I mean, that thing was just. That was a blistering ride every day.
We rode out to meet you guys in Wendover, and it was like,
dude, that day
riding
was hot. In a furnace.
Oh, it was like being in Kuwait. It was so bad riding out there. Because the wind was hitting us, and we were all over.
You couldn't go fast.
And then when we got there, I think was it me and Rico?
Yeah,
Rico rode out.
Yeah.
And we got there, met him at Burger King.
Who else came? It
was just me and Rico.
Was it just you and Rico?
Yeah.
I thought no. Yeah, Mighty Mouse. No,
Mighty didn't come. It was just me and Rico.
Jarrett said you need to sit on Howard's lap.
That'd probably turn him on.
Yeah, we're not gonna sit on anyone's lap tonight.
That's what they do in the Navy.
No,
yeah, right.
Jesus Christ, man, you guys are some fucking. Anyway,
it's all good.
No, so I mean, we talked about brother to brother, and that's something we haven't preached and pushed out to like any of the other chapters yet. It's still in our chapter, but that our goal, and I know talking to the CO and everything is. Ultimately, we'd like to push that out, outside of the state. We want to start in the state with other chapters, and we own brother to brother, but it's something that we feel you can't just buy this patch.
Nope.
You have to earn this, right? And if you own the patch and you see somebody else with it, you know exactly what they went through to get that patch.
They had to do something.
I mean, Muff's project that he did last year was. That's a hard place to start. I mean, if you're going to go and do a project of that nature, I mean, I'm glad it was the first one, and he definitely earned it.
I mean, for the members and everything, those are the stories that come out of being part of CVMA is that, regardless of how hot it was that day, nobody cares about they care about how hot it was, but the fact that he showed up with frozen drinks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he'll never live that down. I mean, it's
we did have pancakes and eggs and bacon.
We had plenty of food. I mean, we couldn't eat it all. I mean, it was so hot. I mean, nobody has an appetite.
It was like being in Jumanji. We cut. Oh man, it wasn't just a roofing project. It was like demolish the yard.
Landscaping.
Yeah. So, it was great. But I mean, brother to brother is a concept that for our chapter that we want to branch out, and we wholeheartedly think that other chapters will get onto it, and the mindset will go. But IMBK, that's a mindset that we use to pay for it all.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's just kind of
it's a brilliant idea. I loved it when I heard it.
What was the original question?
Yes.
I know. What was the original question?
How bad do Marines suck?
No, they don't suck. Dude, I have done...
No, I don't know. I don't remember what the original question was.
That's what I'm trying to come back.
That's what's so great about doing a podcast. It goes everywhere.
I've gone overseas 3 times on 3 deployments, and 2 out of the 3 have been with Marine units, IMF and Tumar Div, and those guys are squared away. I mean, if you're in a firefight and the Marines pick up the landline to come and help you, like you're golden. So we may joke a lot about Marines and armies, but they're squared away. And there isn't a single Marine that I haven't met, and I'm a first sergeant in the Guard.
I 100% agree with what you're about to say.
And I get tons of Marines that were prior service that come into the Guard because there's something that's missing in their life. Like,
yep.
In my unit alone, and if they come in and I know they're a former Marine, I already know they're squared away. Even if they're not an NCO, I don't have to worry about.
Especially if they were combat arms.
Oh yeah,
especially particularly
0311s. I mean, you've got your people. Like, I'm gonna give a shout out to Poppy. He's probably not on, but he's a former Marine. He got back in the Guard. He's a radar tech, and he just barely got back in the Utah National Guard and squared away, man. And
even on the Marine Corps side, I don't know if you want to call it the level of arrogance that 03s will have, that if you're not 03, you're not shit, but we can't do what we do without the supports of all the other MOSs, because our asses are literally swinging in the wind. And if it comes to aviation, artillery, any kind of level of support, we can't finish what we're doing a lot of times, because it just, the modern battlefield is so different
It's dynamic.
And it pivots so quickly in environments that guys that have 10 times as much combat experience as I do.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear a story about a guy that's reloading a 240, and in the process he looks up and he sees a muzzle of an AK come around the corner, and he's like, fuck it, and drops it and snatches it out of the guy's hand and literally butt strokes him to death because he's just got to make that decision. But at the same time, all the other guys that were stuck during that particular engagement,
yeah.
I mean, to get out of that, to reel back off of that so there's not, further loss of life on our side.
Yeah.
That's just one of those things that just, we need the vehicles, and there's the support element you cannot dismiss, because when aviation rolls in, you're just like, oh thank God, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yep. Who's Everyday Pilot?
Everyday Pilot.
Someone in the chat.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was one of us. I don't know.
No, we got a couple of aviation cats, but
I don't know
probably
everybody's.
Sam.
I don't
Sam
know
wasn't
everybody's
a pilot.
YouTube
No.
name or whatever.
Craig? Was Craig a pilot?
Frado?
No, Craig.
Greg's in here
No,
too.
Craig.
No,
With a C.
Yeah, up in
Yeah,
no,
up in
he
Ogden.
I think it was Intel. He's an officer.
I could see that. Oh, yeah. I could
So hey,
definitely see
Everyday
that.
Pilot, if you're still in there, just let us know who you are in the CVMA, what's your road names, etc. I don't remember. I can't put it together.
Oh, you
No,
just
My
wrote
bad.
Now we do have one
I'm old.
that's coming off a deployment right now. He's been over in Afghanistan. Darian, yeah, he's coming.
He's an Apache pilot,
yeah. So
but don't tell him that.
yeah, don't give him any credit for being an Apache
He
pilot. My
said
God.
camel toe.
Camel,
Huh?
that's
Camel
Camel
toe,
Toe.
Oh
yeah.
my God,
He's
that's
a-
camel toe.
How did I
Camel
don't
Toe's
know
a
that?
stud.
Yeah,
he's actually a
he's a cool-
mechanic for the any airframe, basically. I mean, he works
Nice.
with the Lakotas and the Blackhawks.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he's actually our only support member we have in the chapter. And
Sweet.
the only reason he doesn't have a full patch is because he hasn't deployed to a combat
Right.
zone.
So hey, man,
He's solid, though.
not to single you out, but are you going to the next meeting on Saturday?
He's
Come on
probably-
down, buddy.
Yeah, 'cause
here's
I
the-
know you're back home from Florida.
Yeah.
dude. Here's the one thing about camel toe. I mean, this cat. Every time that when he does have the time,
Yeah.
he's solid. He puts it in. He's a great sport on any time that we're just pulling him up out of the crowd. He just rolls with it. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Hats off.
Anyway, let's talk about IMBK.
Ooh.
How did it start?
You want the honest truth?
Yeah, let's hear the honest truth. How and why did
Well,
IMBK start?
at this. No.
Nah, my wife's probably not gonna like this. But, I had been, and
Wait, I don't know what that gesture is.
I can tell you.
I know them boys in the chat are gonna light it up right there.
no. So one night, honestly, I think I was laying in bed with my wife and watching TV or something, and it just came to me. I don't know. I saw a vision. It started with the patch. Like, I legit saw what the patch was gonna look like in my head, and I was like, "Oh man, that's badass! I am my brother's keeper."
Yeah,
I don't know if I saw a sticker or something.
You texted me like at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I was like,
you're
dude, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, I got it. And then thinking about it, like we had actually went to trademark brother to brother. Because we didn't want that to get out. And then when it came down to it, oh, we switching?
No.
Oh,
No, he's going
he's
to blow
gotta
his
pee.
nose.
He's got to pee.
Anyway, moving right along.
I'll get in there.
You can get over here on Howard's chair. Ladies and gentlemen, double Dutch.
This mic is smaller.
Yeah, Jared was like, Gash has a bigger mic than Howard.
Hey, you didn't see mine.
Yeah.
No, so it just came to me, IMBK. I texted the boss. I was like, hey, I got an idea, something that we can actually push out to the chapter, and we can roll with it. It's not just for the chapter. It's for everybody. And it will go into the mindset or, where we want to move forward in making funds. What's
Right.
our what are we doing within the chapter and within our AO? Well, as well as I do, anybody that comes to a biker event, right? They've either got a vest on or something, or they like that stuff. So they're all about, being a part of that thing. And I thought, the patch is something that we could sell. We could make money off that, right? And we didn't have to go to InBod
and get clearance for it, right? It's,
we own it.
We own it, right? So then we started going off of that to, okay, so if I'm my brother's keeper, what does that mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to focus on, right? So brother to brother, obviously that's part of the chapter. That's only for the chapter. It's not nothing you can buy. It's something that you have to earn. But IMBK, that's what funds everything. And if you really think about it, are you your brother's keeper?
Yeah, definitely.
Anybody that's
without
a veteran,
question.
Especially when you're a combat veteran, especially when you join this organization,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you signed up for, regardless if you think that or not, right? There
You
isn't
got
anybody
that on your back.
Yeah, and we've said
You've
that all
already
the time.
been your brother's keeper, and you're going to continue.
If it ain't in your heart, don't put it on your back. And that's where it started. Was I am my brother's keeper, and regardless of the patch or this or that, I mean, a merit badge or whatever you want to say, but that's not what we're focusing on. What we focus on is how do we fund our mission to help veterans in our AO.
I think it's brilliant, man. I really do.
Yeah,
That IMBK and then that little patch, just the IMBK.
Just nice and simple. I mean, we didn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it that needed to be flashy or anything like that. We just wanted to say, what is 491 doing in their AO, and this is what supports brother to brother. So we just kind of put the 2 and 2 together and said, sure, you're going to be able to, in order to get your brother to brother patch, well, you need funding. So let's have a ride to do that.
Yeah.
And so far, it's like every sponsor or anybody that we have approached in the last 9 months to 10 months, when we tell them that the money stays here, we control it. We spend it in order to produce something for a veteran, and then one of us within the chapter gets something out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at, it's not just like projects and stuff. I mean, it's helping veterans. Say he's got a job interview and he needs a new suit, or he needs a resume class, or you got somebody that's got to go to the VA, and especially in during this pandemic, like paying for somebody to have a taxi or something to go there. I mean, it's limitless when it comes down to it. Is what can we do for veterans in our AO?
Yeah.
Right. We're not using it on our members. Like, that's a whole different story.
Here's the other thing about taking IMBK and the brother to brother program and the way that they both interact. We can't help in our AO, and if we as members aren't participating, if you're getting inspired, which if you think about every combat situation that's ever been recorded as a huge story, it's something in time that you had an NCO or an officer, or you had a single soldier or Marine move the line forward, and others were inspired by that. I mean, that's honestly the history of when Double Dutch brought this to me. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I mean, if we're going to storm the hill, we're going to take the beach, then we do need that one person to step forward. And honestly, Muff stepped up last year with the roofing project. First project, I mean, knocked it out of the park.
Hit it.
I remember you guys talking about that. How hot it was.
Well, he texted me and said, "Hey, I've got an idea for this project." And I said, "Okay, well, what is it?" He's like, "I'm not fully vetted on it yet. Once I have the full thing, I'll send it to you."
And we kicked it back a couple. We kicked it back. I mean, and the one thing with earning the brother to brother that we like about this is that if you maybe don't have quite the logistical mind, but you've got an idea. Well, everybody can be the what if fairy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that comes out of everybody. I mean, every unit that's ever stood around a sand table going, well, what if we do it like this? And what if we do it like that? And hey, I got a great idea if we do it like that. The nice thing with this, members can bring it to the chapter.
Yeah.
We can weigh, measure, scope it, make sure logistically it is something we can pull off, and we're not going to, tear the side of someone's house off, the siding on it, and we're like, hey, you know what? We kind of ran out of funding. We'll finish that next year.
Yeah.
No, we scope it. We make sure that it's within our purview of something we can actually handle as the chapter. And if we can't, here's the other nice thing about Cvma. If we couldn't have handled that roofing project either financially or with manpower, calling the other COs and saying,
What do you got?
Need help.
Yeah. Hey, all hands on deck, Frago. I mean, I need this is what I need help with. And just kind of a caveat away from brother to brother or anything like that. Members rely on one another, not only for the brother to brother project, but when they're actually having a personal crisis.
Yeah.
Because we would understand and we know discretion the way that, one, we don't always tell all of the details, but if someone pops smoke and says, I need help with this or this, and I really just, could you, help me out, and can you put the call out? We, as a chapter and chapters within the state, we've got access to resources that are unbelievable.
Right.
Not just in the state.
Because there's more than just one kind of person in every chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got more skills and talents and everything.
Well, and the one thing that I'm hoping that this podcast, not just today's, but if you're in CVMA 491 and you're on the fence or you have an idea, I hope this motivates you to go and earn your brother patch. Like, reach out in your AO and think of something. And if you're not a merit badge kind of person and it's not for you or whatever, that's fine. But I hope this motivates you to want to help veterans in the AO.
Yeah.
And that's reason why we started this brother and IMBK.
And not everybody's going to be in that position based on, life happens.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be able in the position to earn their brother patch, but maybe one of the things that they can do is they've got a whole garage full of stuff that they can donate. They can donate. They can supply the coolers, the water, shovels. Take your pick on whatever the resource is. Yeah. And just from my experience last year, coming off the ride season, taking advantage of the downtime that I unfortunately had to endure.
Yeah.
Trying to hobble around with a busted foot and some ribs and getting bruised up from going down. It allowed me to say, you know what? If there was another member that really honestly, they love the motorcycle sport. They love the riding, but their bike is broke. I mean, there are tools, and we all have, and I mean,
why are you talking about me? My bike's still on the list.
He's talking about a tool again.
See, you're the one that goes right to it, man. I mean,
you brought it up, buddy.
The drill instructor is like, "Here's a tool for you. Just take it. Just take it." But being able to afford a lift, I mean, it was
I mean, we're using it in a couple of weeks. We got a member. She came to me and said, well, it was actually started, she posted on GroupMe. It was like, hey, I want to change all my fluids and stuff. I don't want to take it to Harley and get raped. Does anybody know how to do that? And everybody in the chapter piped up, yeah, this is what you got to do, blah, 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 go get. I mean, Music Man was huge. I know myself, Paco, there's a couple other people. She came to me at one of our IMBK meetings and was like, hey, so when do you want to do this? And I was like, I'm free here, here, and here. And I said, well, let's talk to the boss. Maybe he'll let us use his lift, because I know he's put it out there. If you got anything you want to do on your bike, come over to my house, Yeah. So we did. We approached the CO and said, hey, does this day work for you? Oh, yeah, cool. Come on over. We've already got it planned. She's going to bring her bike over. And between all of us that are going to be there, we should be able to knock that thing out in like an hour and a half, maybe.
That's if we're not drinking too much beer.
Yeah. So
I mean, you're not taking a break every 15 minutes. 5-minute break for a beer, boys.
That's what it's all about. And I can tell you now countless stories within the chapter on people that are moving. Like, I moved from West Jordan out to Saratoga Springs. I put out one thing on GroupMe, and I had 6 people at my house. And I mean, I cut down a big tree in my yard, and there was like 5 people that showed up.
I know you posted, hey, I got a tree to cut down. There was like 3. It turned out to be like 3 trees. We're like,
yeah. I mean, Grumpy.
How many
moved.
chainsaws?
Yeah,
we only had 2, and it was done in like 30 minutes. Loaded. Cool. Grumpy moved. Everybody came to his house, and he neglected to say. So when we got to his new place, we put all his stuff on his trailer and stuff, and we
all right, buddy, unload it.
And so he went to the storage unit. And he took a couple people with him. Well, we all went to the house. It's like a condo apartment type place. Really nice.
Right.
Like, if your dog shits on the yard there, they DNA test it, and then they fine you.
And then they find out who's
Yeah, so
yeah, they do. They actually
we
do.
get
You got to register your dog.
you do
You know, the DNA.
I didn't believe Trauma when she told me that. I was like, "There's no way." She's like,
No.
"Yeah, you had to pay $250 just to get your dog DNA tested so that they have it on file." No, we get to the house though, and we're pulling up, and I'm looking up, and it's like 3-4 stories. Trauma gets out, and I'm like, so which floor are we on? And I'm like, Brian, and she says first floor, and she's like, oh yeah, we're on the 3rd floor. And I'm like,
Of course, why not?
But you know what? We had that thing licked in like an hour.
That's good.
And that was at the storage unit and on the house, you know. And I mean, we have members all the time. Like they'll call up and say, hey, I just bought this 70-inch TV at Costco, and I need somebody to come help me get it in my house. I don't have a truck.
Speaking of which, I mean, Topless went out and bought herself a lift.
Yeah. Oh, she did?
Oh, she went out and bought a lift, and for
cool.
her and Tom.
Nice.
I mean, man, as far as turning a wrench,
she's not scared.
No, she's not.
But that's the things in the chapter that I'm talking about. Like,
yeah.
We put it out there, and I'm not even kidding you. Within a minute to 2 minutes, there's 5 people that are like, "Yep, let me know when." You know, we get members that are saying, "Hey, I'm going out for a ride," and then everybody will chime in, "Hey, I'll come," and then another member will come on and say, "Hey, my husband's at home. He might want to go with you." And he's, I'm not going on a ride today. So
right.
You know what they do? They go out there and they visit him at home. I mean, that's what
Awesome.
That's what it's all about.
Since we're kind of go ahead.
Yeah, or you end up like in my situation last year. I'm laying there on the couch, you know, pillows up underneath my foot, and my foot's in a damn boot. And I get guys
Chinese jump boot.
Oh man, I tell you what, you know, they you know, I got guys showing up, bringing me these, you know, gifts of crayons and coloring paper to keep me busy.
Of course, why not?
You know, over the next 3 months, because I knew, you know, because over the next 6 weeks, it was just like, and honestly, you know, I've been injured on a motorcycle before.
Was this when you were running and you slid under the fence?
We won't talk about that. That motorcycle may or may not have been stolen. I didn't do the stealing.
Hey, we won't talk about illegal doings on this show.
Right.
No, the statute of limitations.
Way back. So
But,
when you were 12.
Yeah, it's that's the I'm laying there. I'm laid up, and guys bringing me stuff. Granted, it's a joke. You know, they're just playing. You know, it's all in good fun.
Right.
Trying to raise my spirits. Like, hey, man.
He's talking about Paco and Bohica right now.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Bohica, you know, he's another Marine.
Yeah.
He's in the Guard though.
He's funny though.
Yeah, he's in the Army.
He's a funny guy.
But he'll tell everybody he's a Marine.
Yeah. Traitor.
Well, it's like, not to bring up anything outside of the CVMA, but I play on a veterans hockey team, and one of the guys there was a Marine, and now he's Air Force. But he won't claim Air Force. He claims Marines. That's the Marine pride right there.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Once a Marine, always a Marine.
So we were talking about IMBK and all that stuff. I don't know if we ever really heard from you why you joined the CVMA.
Oh man. So I got home off my second deployment, and my wife, she bought me my motorcycle.
Screaming Mimi.
Yeah,
baby.
Screaming Mimi. So I got home like that night. I actually came home on emergency leave because my wife was pregnant with our first kid. So before I got deployed, they were like, "Oh yeah, you're golden. You'll be able to come home, no problems." You know, we get over there, and they're like, "Yeah, you're not going home. Sorry." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna have to break this to my wife, you know, because I've been telling her the whole time I'm gonna go home." Anyways, long story short, I get home, and like that night, she could not wait. So they had the motorcycle over at her grandparents' house, and she opened the garage, and it was like, this guy had decked this thing out. He wanted a Harley, but it wasn't. It was a Honda Spirit. So she bought me my first motorcycle, and I was going down to school down in Cedar City.
So it was a Harley at...
I know it had Harley tires. It had a custom Corbin seat, custom paint job.
It had a Harley sticker on it.
a Harley sticker.
Don't make fun.
I had a
don't
Harley.
Make fun of Screaming
I had a
Mimi.
Harley shirt on.
Dude, honestly, this thing from 2 blocks away, you knew.
I remember how loud his bike
it was loud.
That thing gave me a headache.
It was so loud, my father-in-law was trying to buy pipes for his bike to make it louder because he wanted to show me up.
Just take them off.
So I get the bike. I go down to Cedar City. I'm going to school, and Monkey actually was down there. And he, at the time, there was only like 4 or 5 of them in the chapter. And he knew I rode a bike and everything, and he just said, "Hey, fill this application out." And I was like, "Okay, what are you talking about?" He's like, "We got this group that we ride together." So I went on a couple of rides with them. And
Talk about a chapter that has just grown.
Oh, yeah.
quick shout out to Monkey and his wife. I hope everything works out, and she is getting healthy.
I'm following her on Facebook. Everything looks like it's good.
Cool.
New house, everything's golden. So I filled out my application, sent it in, driver's license, paid everything. I got my patch in the mail and sewed it on, showed up. And I mean, that's how I joined. I didn't even know what it was.
That's how we did things back then.
Yeah, and back in the day, they would drop ship it, so the member could go. But now it's more of a controlled item. So
So we got guys in the chat that are talking about specific events like, hey, I got an accident. I made a quote or asked a question. Within half an hour, people were at my house before I even got patched in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's all kinds of stories.
Oh, that's Prado.
Yeah. So, that's exactly what and guys, for those stories that you guys are talking about, keep them in mind. If you ever come on the podcast, we can talk about all that stuff.
So,
but I'm going to go back to this real quick. I didn't know what I was joining when I joined. I just knew the guys because I'd served with them. I mean, I went to Iraq with Triplet, with Monkey. Ashworth was one. Sapper was down there. And then this old guy, Chet, he was the detachment commander. And so I honestly didn't know what I was doing. I just liked to ride motorcycles. And I had no worries about the patch or anything. And then once I started going to it, and really when I got back into 491, that's when it really kicked off for me. And I was like, man, this is awesome. This is exactly what I was looking for. I mean, I like to ride bikes. And honestly, when I got back into 401, I was still on Screaming Mimi. And I mean, everybody was giving me
every time
shit.
I was by you, I was like, just fell back a little bit. I was like, I don't want to be next.
I said,
to this guy.
if I'm really gonna ride with these guys, like I gotta step up. I gotta step up my game, And,
well, we'd get on an on ramp, and I'd have to come off the throttle, and wait for because I could hear that he was.
I was wrapped out, man.
It's just this thing is just screaming its cylinders out, and I'm like, okay, he's trying to catch up, and I would ease, Jay and I would ease up because Jay would look over at me, and he just Jay would shake his head like.
It was that ride over in Camas,
yes.
where we were going, and dude, I was pinned out, and he was just like, whoa, gone. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm getting a bigger bike.
That's how it always happens.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
When I joined the CVMA back in Kansas, I had a sport bike. And I was in a
crotch rocket.
Yeah, I had a Yamaha R6, and I was shopping for the bike I have now.
Paco's getting a Woody because he's got
because he's got a metric.
I love him.
Yeah, Paco right now is probably just like.
Yeah. So I actually owned 2 sport bikes before I bought my Harley, but I was looking for something a little bit more not so fast. Not that I minded the speed, but I was just more looking for something to just cruise around on and stuff. So I got my Harley, and 2 days later, I was in the CVMA.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to go to the CVMA with a sport bike. I don't want. 99% of the people have a Harley or cruiser type bike. Very seldom do you see Can-Ams.
Yeah.
But you'll see trikes and stuff like that, but you hardly ever see sport bikes.
Yeah.
No, so Six
back
actually.
east, maybe.
So actually, Six when he joined with me.
BMW.
He was a but at first I was like, the whole tucked in shirt, belt, and all that. I was just like, yeah, this guy's his whatever bike he is riding. I mean, it's probably super polished. This thing is just probably dressed out. He can afford whatever. No, we go over to the parking lot, and I'm like, he goes to throw his helmet on. I'm like, the fuck was that? And he goes, oh, it's my BMW. I've been riding this thing for 40 years. I was like.
I can see that.
Yeah, it looked like hammered shit.
No, it was a nice bike, but it was a sport bike.
It was, but I mean, you know what? Here's the thing: he got out of that bike what BMW intended it.
Oh yeah,
right.
Absolutely, 100%. Everything about that bike was just. It was. I mean, it was a usable bike, and finally, we thought, oh,
yeah. So if I ever had a sport bike again, I would immediately be raising my hand, but can I be a road guard? I want to haul ass.
Road guard.
Road guard, whatever you guys.
You got to wear a vest. You got to wear
I don't mind.
PT belt.
You
you know what?
I'll wear a goddamn unicorn head. I don't care.
Here's what his new road name is road guard.
Yeah.
How many damn new names you gonna give me? You give me T-Rex. You give me road guard.
We got a new thing on.
So here's the kind of the new thing. This was pretty cool. This year for 2021, at the Christmas party at the end of the year,
mm-hmm.
whoever shows up with the most code names sewn onto the inside of their vest.
I'm still waiting on T-Rex.
Well, okay. Well,
And then
gotta
you got to
vote
get
on
Road Guard.
Yeah, we got to vote on it.
It's got.
He's got to have a quorum.
This is
It's all good.
This is just kind of like a sniper kill. You gotta have an officer present and witness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sew a piece of PT belt right here.
There you go.
Maybe I'll subdue it.
Yeah, the Army and the Air Force are the only ones that wore PT
Yeah.
belts.
That's so stupid. Anyway.
Did you hear that story about the Marines?
What, killing deer?
No.
Tackling deer?
Yeah, they were tackling deer and
No,
putting
no.
PT belts on them.
Yes. So they're
So all the-
they're in Pendleton. They got bored on some of their field ops, and so what they were doing is they, in the middle of the night, they were leaving their fob, their kind of their training area, and they were tackling these deer, and they were putting PT belts on them.
Yeah.
And then they would run all over Pendleton, and
The MPs or
Yeah,
something was seeing them and freaking
they were
out.
just like,
and-
what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And so finally, when they caught up with it, and they was like, they would have totally gotten away with it if the guy's name hadn't have been stamped on the inside of the PT belt. Talk about a Lance Coconut move.
Oh boy, that's too much, man.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah.
So you guys, we got state coming up, don't we?
You.
Hey, before we get into events this year, let's take 5 real quick.
All right.
Just kind of mute the mics.
He's
and,
got to pee.
Yeah, we'll
Man,
take
yeah.
5, guys. We're gonna take 5. Stand by. We're turning the cameras on and the mics off. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes. So we're back, and
Send it.
I just wanted to start this session off. We're not going to be on too much longer, but I kind of wanted to, I guess, go over the leadership roles and stuff within the chapter, and what are they and what do they do?
It's a valid point, valid question. Obviously, CO, kind of
Not the president.
No. As far as the CO
Fuck.
position, I mean, it's like, for the way the bylaws read and everything like that. I mean, I'm not going to say that the buck stops with me, but
It does.
But the
it
buck
does.
stops
It
with him.
does. I mean, but at the same time, in the entire time I've been the CO, I don't operate. I ask my other officers, especially I heavily rely on my XO. He's my temperament. When I probably want to.
He's in the Army too.
Well, here's the thing about Jaybird. Jaybird, when I look over at him and he's just kind of doing one of these, giving me the wave off, I get what he's saying. The way we've been riding together for so many years, I value his opinion more than anything. Outside of that, you've got within the structure of CVMA, you end up with the chapter board or executive board, which is the CO, the XO, and your chapter secretary. The three of us, as far as if I'm going to put out the plan of the day, execution and delivery of that plan of the day goes through the XO down to the secretary and out from there. Typically, if we are having an internal conversation about, what's the next, plan of the day, and if we're going to carry it out, it goes out to the sergeant at arms, treasurer, obviously preacher, make sure we can afford to do what what we want to do. He keeps us all in check financially. But for the most part, the way that the officers talk amongst each other, outside of carrying out that plan of the day, the content itself for what we're going to be doing, obviously our PRO does a great job of getting the word out to everybody.
He sure does.
So the PRO takes our content, pushes it out. Rod's come in from Arizona. He's taken over for Big Steve. He's in the interim right now, so more than likely he's going to get voted in come April. Everybody is liking the work that's happening there. And as far as Sergeant Arms, that's who I look to outside of Jay to wrangle the cats. I mean, if we're at a chapter meeting, a ride, a member is tending to be somewhat I don't know, kind of I wouldn't call them out of line, but if we need to wrangle some stuff in, pass the word, make sure communication's happening, working with Rod, that it just all happens kind of in sync. I mean, we disagree, we agree, as a board, consistently. Not all of us have the same opinion on things, but at the end of the day, I try to, as a CEO, I try to balance what is going to be the best health and decision for the chapter. No, it's all good. We're still live, right?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah. So, I mean,
well, you hit it on the head. So, I mean, as the officers, like the chapter really makes the decision on where we're going. The officers are just the ones that carry it out.
Sure.
Right. And I mean, he said wrangling cats and stuff, but like our members are solid, right? They're going to bring us ideas and stuff that we're going to do. For the most part, I mean, chapter meetings and events and stuff, that falls to the officers. But to pull that off, it comes from the chapter.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right? And like my role with the CO is more or less, I have his back. Like I never let him go anywhere by himself, regardless of, what's going on in my life or in his life. And he talked about Jaybird, and Jay really is the silent voice, man. He's the temperament when it comes to it, because like I'm a type A personality, Howard's a type A personality, and like we get shit done. Like, I mean, we just hit it head on.
Hardcore go-getters.
Well, it may not come, and it may not come off that I am probably not a lot of the times considering the feelings I don't have time for that sometimes. I just need to, because I mean, obviously, I have a real job, pays my bills. I mean, I have a life. You know, I have a wife and a family, and a lot of times, if you know, if my ping goes out, no, it's going to be what it is. And,
Definitely.
you know, I'm not trying to rub anybody raw, but at the same time, I'm trying to be super efficient, and if that comes across really direct, it is not intended to be rude in any way. And again, I just really have a problem with the way text and emails. You can't read my body like this right now.
You can't.
You can't see double dutch. You don't know. You can't read body language. You can't see the sincerity. A lot of times over a message or something like that. I don't think anybody in the chapter within command or anything like that. Nobody has ill intent.
No,
I don't think so either.
No, but what happens is we
it might get taken out of context.
Yeah,
sometimes.
we get moving pretty quick.
Yeah,
and if you think about you know, movement on a battlefield, I mean, things can move really quick.
Yeah.
And I would hope that from this podcast or from just, you know, the interactions that if anybody's had with me, there's never ill intent.
No.
It's just I need to get shit done.
It's just basic leadership, man.
I'm
I'm used to that. I like the direct stuff.
I got to get stuff done.
But no, I mean, huge shout out to Jay, because he really does. He does, like, he's got the temperament, and it's not that he just keeps us on the straight and narrow, but he uses that maturity, you know, and there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that the chapter doesn't see.
Yeah.
And it takes all of the officers.
If I need to slow down, I mean, we need to take that kind of dramatic pause over something. I will take the time to think about it.
Yeah.
Try to come up with the best response. But again, you know, each officer on the board has a role.
Yeah.
We try not to swim, you know, in each other's lanes. It's kind of hard.
Well,
sometimes
it's defining those lanes too, especially when you have so much turnover.
You know, I think, you know, whether it's turnover, it just comes down to communication. I mean, every battle plan that I've ever read any history book on.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to Alexander the Great, I mean, you know, communication, the failure of communication is what causes the fog of war.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you really think about what happens, and this didn't take, you know, and it doesn't take but a moment and to realize that if you stop, think, and communicate, it's just like if you shoot, move, and communicate, your likelihoods of survival go up dramatically. So that's kind of one of the 0311, you know, stamps that gets, you know, burned into you, is that if you don't shoot, move, and communicate, things are not going to go the way you want them to. So ultimately, the board that I think we have in place, and even in the future, I hope that if I've done my job, somebody's looking up to see what and how I'm doing something, and they can make it better. Yeah. Whether it's this podcast or it's something different, you know, if we as the current command, if we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, we should be mentoring down to the lower ranks, and they should be asking us, what do you do? How did you do that? Yeah. I don't understand the logistics behind it. I don't understand the administrative aspect of it. And should be asking those questions. And so at the time that, you know, when we decide to ride in the back and take it easy and be like, whew.
I already ride in the back, so.
Well, you know what? You found out what it's like to ride front and left.
Oh, I did, and it's not one of those things taken lightly. So.
I mean, everybody, you know, I can deal with the, you know, the jokes and all that kind of stuff, but you know, when you're doing 80 miles an hour down the freeway, and you've got 10, 15 bikes behind you, and the traffic's coming up.
Yep. And trying to figure out what exit you're going off,
and
how early you're going to get over, and is everybody following you? Are they keeping up? Like,
it's you know, but anyway, that's command.
And shout out, honestly, to our officers. Like, we've got some solid officers. So right now, our secretary, Mighty Mouse, is on the way out. He's decided not to run. And we've got a couple of people that have thrown their names into the hat for that with the elections coming up. We've also got a solid treasurer, like Preacher. Man, he's solid. Like, he stays in his lane, and anything dealing with money, he's just solid. I mean.
So when you asked earlier kind of about command and everything and kind of what the chapter's doing, one of the bigger things that when I say the chapter comes first, one of my objectives with the chapter was to make sure that the chapter was, financially whole, stable, and healthy. And pretty much about every piece of swag or anything that the chapter owns right now that we have in inventory, it has already been paid up in full. And we're gonna stay that way. And Tony helps me with that. And when we're trying to, forecast what is the best financial plan, and what do we do?
Whole.
Yeah, what do we do with the money? I mean, it's not it.
We don't just let it sit in the bank. Like,
and every financial decision is we're not the $20 million a year nonprofit. We're guys that are working with veterans in our AO, and financially, we have to be very, very cautious and responsible for that money. Yeah. Because if anybody were to ask, okay, where did that go? What did you spend that on? Why did you do that? I mean, we want to be able to answer those questions. And there are our local sponsors. Yeah. Everything from Black Sheep, Bar and Grill there off 90th that we go to all the time. It's kind of our watering hole. So
Utah
Bike Law, big shout out to Utah Bike Law.
George is awesome.
George is as solid as they come. I mean, he's a biker himself. So all of our sponsors, I mean, when they're asking us where does that money go, it's not for us to have a lifestyle.
Wendover.
Yeah. It's not for us to enjoy our lifestyle. It's for a veteran that we can help. And, our Secret Santa, kind of getting a little bit into, some of the other stuff that we do. Outside of Brother and IMBK, we've got our benevolent fund. We've got our Secret Santa. We've had a couple of instances over the last couple of years where either someone in the chapter has come on to
hard times,
a financial challenge.
Yeah,
and being able to approach them and just say, look,
we've given it out 3 times.
This is not something you have to pay back.
No.
We're not asking you to.
We ran into that the first time.
Yeah,
we gave it out the benevolent fund. So Jaber's actually the one that his idea was to start it.
Yep.
By selling stickers. Like, we got CVMA stickers, and that's what all the money from that went to the benevolent fund. The first time we actually gave it out to somebody that actually really needed it was like a month later. He paid it all back to the chapter.
But he paid it back in a way that was really cool. I mean, he said,
I don't need it. I'm solid now.
If you guys are going to buy more T-shirts or something like that, spend the money there. Yeah. So every member from the board on down is financially responsible within the chapter, because we know that the money itself needs to be cared for accurately, and appropriately.
Yeah. So and the last person that I want to give a shout out to is our PRO. All right, so Big Steve bowed out. He's going out, and then we have the Apache Doc that's actually running for PRO. Yep. So he stepped in the interim and took over comms, Facebook, GroupMe, anything for the chapter as far as information goes. He's on it and he pushes it out. So that Rod Apache Doc's our PRO. I think we've covered all the officers.
I think you have. So since we've covered all that, how about we start talking about road names? How does someone get a road name, for one? And 2, we have a thing in our chapter where you get extra road names, etc., and that's Christmas party stuff. Yeah. We kind of touched on it earlier, but let's talk about how does one earn a road name.
So other chapters.
Well, let me sum this up.
Okay.
You either have to do something really cool or really stupid.
And that's the short version.
That's the short version.
There's chapters in CVMA that let you pick your road name. Like when you patch in, you've already got your road name.
So the way this kind of started out with the road names and I just kind of find that over time, if we are hanging around each other enough, then something to build a story. I mean, honestly, this is probably one of my most favorite. Oh,
he's got his road guard. Dude, you're not doing the Army any service right now.
Right,
Howard's going to eat that up.
Yeah, my God. I mean,
you guys wanted to call me road guard. That's my
thing
they made me wear as a drill sergeant.
No, everybody earns their road name.
They do. So we're leaving Cedar City, and we're all pulled up, rallied up, lined up, ready to go, waiting for the last person to check out from the hotel. And we're all sitting there, and this bus opens the door, and it's one of these big tour buses. I mean, this thing's huge. And the door opens, and all these Japanese or Asian come just piling out, and they come running up to us. And I mean, one guy, he put his hand on the throttle, like I tried to touch my hand, and I had to tell him, it's like, look, I'm trying to like balance my bike. I've got
Get away from me, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to be polite, but I look back in my mirror, and like a ninja, there's a guy
sitting on a street glide.
Said ninja.
Sitting on someone's bike, and I'm like, and I'm trying to look at Dale, and I'm like, what the hell is going on back there? You know, and everybody's revving motors trying to keep them away. And the next stop, or we went over to IHOP. we went over to IHOP. We pull in there or something like that, and we get something to eat and for our breakfast before we get on the road. And I'm like, you know what was that all about? And he's like, man, I didn't even see where he came from. And he just, next thing I know, the guy's on my bike. And I said, well, what you should have done is just throttled up out of formation and just headed out into the West Desert for about 20 minutes, and then pull over, hand him a bottle of water, and say good luck, and
adios,
buddy. You should have jumped. You don't jump on. Even that morning before we.
I can't believe you jumped on your bike.
No, before
it was on Rip.
It was on Dale's bike. It was on Rip, and so
period. Anyone's bike.
So the kind of the way that came out is that I guess he needed a lift. Well, no.
You see a lift light on my bike, buddy?
No,
they said rift.
The Asian,
I need a rift.
The Asian guy goes, "Oh, you give rift?" And I was like, "No, we don't give rift." And then I mean, it just stuck like glue, and Dale could not get rid of it, and
so his name's Rift.
There you go, good name.
Well, and on top of that, I don't think Cedar City has even lift. They've got Uber.
Yeah.
Kevin, I still remember this cat. Kevin, the Uber driver.
Yeah.
I think there's like one. There's only one in Cedar City. It's
Kevin.
No,
Kevin.
there's countless of those. I mean, we gave Paco his name from Sturgis.
Yeah.
We went to Sturgis, and he got a little drunk on his birthday, and Bohica bought him a sombrero, and like
nice.
It was somebody was sitting next to us, and they started calling him Paco. And then let's talk about meat. Yeah.
That one is that one's an interesting one because that one was kind of really unintended because we pull in and
he's an infantry guy, just new to the chapter.
Yeah, and the bathroom was kind of a 1-2 hole type bathroom, not enough for everybody to go especially when you've been riding and need to hydrate, and then each stop you gotta use the bathroom. And well, let's just say
he's going to the bathroom.
He's going to the bathroom, yeah, and some other guys are just like, hey, what'd you do? Grow up next to him?
No. So Kendall walks in.
No, I know. I'm trying to
dumb it down.
I'm just trying to be a little, but yeah.
Hey, don't interrupt the CO, man.
He's
got the con right now.
We said we weren't going to talk about it.
I mean, let me just say, the guy's named Meat for a reason.
We were going to go with Dirk, like Dirk Diggler.
Well, then.
C-Note. That's another
C-Note,
one.
yeah.
Mark.
Shout out to C-Note. I mean, this is now here's something that's really cool about Mark. So we thought when we pulled into our normal link up spot, we thought that was a guy we were waiting for.
Yeah.
And so Double Dutch runs over there and says, "Hey, are you so and so?" And he goes, "No." But what are you guys all about? Hand him a business card. A couple months later, a few months later, he's patched in. And he patches in, and unfortunately, he's moving.
Yeah,
he's moving out of state, so it kind of sucks. I mean, he's going to be leaving the chapter here soon, and probably the next 45 days or so. But good for him. I mean, his wife and his wife,
kids out there going to school.
Yeah, and they're kind of making that life change. From what they were doing out here in Utah. So that's what happens with CVMA. It's kind of that ebb and flow. We've got a couple of guys that were in the chapter. They decided to go down to Florida, go to the Harley school, mechanic school.
Nice.
And that's just what happens if you are traveling across the country and you are broke down.
Yeah.
You can call your CO and say, I am literally stuck in the middle of nowhere on highway whatever in state XYZ, and your CO go to work finding out who the state rep is, who the local chapter CO is. And I would almost imagine within an hour or so, if you were really in the middle of nowhere, somebody's going to show up with a truck and trailer, put your bike on a trailer, and get you somewhere safe and get you off the road. They'll even, I've had members offer up their homes, like, hey, if you guys are coming through and you're going to stay with us,
they get into an accident or something, they're at the hospital.
Like the year before.
Yeah.
We had a member on a long distance ride, gets hit in the leg with a brick that fell off a truck.
Yeah.
And I mean, the logistics that went into
I got to interrupt, bro.
Yeah.
Poppy just entered the room.
Oh,
what's up, Poppy?
Hey, Poppy.
I had to give him a shout out. He just popped up on the chat.
I call him Flex because he's always posting gym selfies.
Yeah, he's like
he almost couldn't get in the guard because he was too big.
And then that one right there. I mean, Rico.
Yeah.
I ran into Rico. He transferred up 493 just because he was going to school and he bought a house up in Ogden. Kendall, same thing. Came into it, into 491, transferred up to 493. But that's just what happens with members. They come and go, and
they earn their road name.
They do. I mean, Kendall. Shout out to Odine. I mean, this guy's about as sharp as they come. I like Odine.
Don't ride behind him.
My chapters that I've been in 3 chapters in the Cvma, and 2 of the 3 so far have participated in welcoming the Run for the Wall.
Yeah.
From LA to DC. Yeah. So
we've actually thought about this.
I would love to get them to stop through here.
Yeah, I think
they like to go through Arizona though.
Yeah, they do. They like to hit that southern route and then swing around.
Yeah, but the first year I was in, it was literally like 6 months later. The ride was coming through 600 and some odd bikes, and they were in Arizona and they hit 10 inches of snow and were delayed for like 3 days.
That's kind of like the guys
they went down to Tombstone, man.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm going to go down to Tombstone and enjoy some sunny weather in Arizona. And
it's a good thing Bohica had a trailer.
I know, then they get bombed.
It's all good.
But you bring up a good thing, a topic is, the rides that we got going on coming up.
Yeah.
What's the very next ride that we got coming?
Tomorrow. Well, actually, Saturday.
Chapter meeting.
Saturday.
Chapter
meeting.
Other than like those kind of rides, like not big rides, but
Sunday,
just where you're gonna have more than like 6, 8, 10 people or something.
We've got a polar bear ride coming up on Sunday that one of the members is
sponsoring kind of stepping
sort of.
This year, kind of what we've and what the reason the board has kind of went in this direction is because everybody tells us about a ride, and then it comes and goes. And it's in our AO, and we're like, I guess we probably should have had a presence there. So, really, what we're working towards now is that if a particular ride, Patriot, Night Templar, whoever
whatever.
it is, any of the MCs or whatever.
Naughty Schoolgirls.
Yeah, Naughty Schoolgirl ride. No, that's a great ride. If anybody wants to go on a ride, that was the one to go on.
You notice how you got really close to the mic on that one.
Dude, honestly, that's probably one of my favorite.
Disappoint.
It does not disappoint.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I've been on it twice.
Yeah, it's unfortunately I don't think they held it last year.
No, they didn't.
No, so, but as far as like those type of rides, what we've really pushed the members to do is like the board can put the word out and support you with logistics and any other levels of support.
Yeah.
But if you are going to adopt a ride within the chapter, then own it.
Yeah,
own it.
POC, you're gonna come up with it.
Work with the board. Let's make sure we get the right message out. There's not multiple link ups, or we don't miss. We don't have a swing and a miss. And if we're all going to show up, then that's the direction we're going.
So I would like to. I know it seems like I'm interrupting, but I know we're going to be cutting it short here shortly. I want to give a shout out to all the chapters in Utah.
Absolutely.
Their COs or leadership or whatever. Just however you want to do it. Just let's give a shout out to all the other chapters in Utah.
Absolutely. Let me kind of run down the list here. Obviously, our state rep, 6, does a great job for us. Grumpy, our state sergeant at arms, solid guy. I don't have enough words to say and honor the guy.
Me neither, because he not only supports me here or in the Cvma, but he also supports my radio station too.
Nice. Yeah, I mean,
so yeah, he's always an awesome guy.
Our state leadership is solid. Even it's always been solid. I don't want anybody to take that wrong.
Right.
It's always been solid. But
it's the current leadership now.
Current leadership, 6, Grumpy, as far as like our state rep, our state sergeant at arms. As far as for 491, you've got myself as the CO. You've got 492. You've got Willie G up there in the Ogden area. 493. You've got the new CO for 493, which is Dirty D, Cowboy, and those guys kind of had a little bit of restructuring, just to give everybody some experience. Talking to Cowboy, it was time for somebody else to be CO up there, and can totally respect that. Dirty D is a great guy. I mean, he's been with the Cvma as long as I've been with Cvma. I've always known Dirty. He's also our state quartermaster. So then you've got 494 down there. You got Monkey down there in Cedar City. I mean, everybody loves Monkey. I mean, Monkey is
what's just, not to love about Monkey?
Have you seen like Pinky?
I haven't seen him in a while, but he's freaking.
He's just a solid dude.
Yeah, he's got a big ass forehead though.
Yeah, and rides an Indian. I still can't figure that one out. I mean,
if I didn't throw that out there, he'd be disappointed in me because he's thinking about a short joke right now.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
And then
definitely.
And then you've got Stepper out there with 495.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of command structure change out there as well here in the last couple of months. Let's see. Scalps was the CO out there, and then Stepper stepped up, as the CO out there. So that's really the command. Obviously, every CO has a board that's supporting them. And unfortunately, I don't know all of the complete structure of every chapter. Most of us, when we see each other, whether you have to kind of glance down, look at a road name, kind of go, oh, hey, yeah,
definitely.
It's all in brotherly love. I mean, we all know that we're all wearing the same patch when we show up to each other's rides.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one of these.
No, you're right. It's not ranking.
It's not a fist pump either.
No.
COVID or not, it's always been.
Yeah. So to wrap things up, I just want to go back to the events that we got coming up. So we're focusing in state. So we're going to 494's ride. We're going to 493's ride.
Yep.
Those are the big rides that we've got going, and then state.
Do you have dates on those?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, you don't have to waste your time looking them up. But
check us out on social media.
Yeah, definitely. Give that website out.
Our PRO is got those dates out there on our chapter calendar.
And in future podcasts,
we'll have all that out.
I'll have a ticker or something on the bottom with our email or contact information for us.
Yep.
So I mean, we've got there's a region ride that we're supporting with some of our people. The Fallen Patriot ride is May 29th of the Fallen Patriot ride. So Cedar City's ride is So we'll get those dates pushed out, but we're focusing in the state,
right?
So all the chapter rides, and then I want to hit obviously state meeting. That's where 491's putting that on.
So we've got the duty this year for the state rally. Normally, whichever chapter has to put that on, they normally run that in conjunction with any other ride they have within their direct AO. It kind of helps kill two birds with one stone. So the state rally September 10th, and then IMBK on September 11th.
Very next day,
yeah.
The nice thing about this year, 20th anniversary for 9/11.
Yep.
We are. I know, huge, powerful message going on there. We've got just a huge level of support for what we're doing on this particular, September 10th and 11th for the state and IMBK, which is logistically, it's.
It's a nightmare. It's a lot of work. It really is.
It's you end up with you start out with 40 people telling you we should do it this way, that everything. The day of, what I liked about last year, we had a good turnout. We had a lot of support and everything. We had some of the other chapters that showed up and helped us out. We're expecting to reach out to the other chapters and ask them for support, helping with the rides and stuff like that. So just logistically, it just takes a lot. But ultimately, the day of, we've got our teams set up, more or less our fire teams, and we've got people in charge of running just the different tasks, and we'll run it. We'll run it to ground.
And we're also running this podcast at one of them, aren't we?
Oh, we're going to be doing the bunch.
I don't know if it's going to be an all-day thing or just like an hour.
I think we need to have some sessions, like in the morning, afternoon, something like that.
We're going to do something for state and for IMBK, but I mean, throughout the IMBK one, we're going to have, there's a couple celebrities that are coming.
Because I would other than those, I would like to get every CO.
Yeah.
To speak about their chapter and their area and
so at state,
how to go about becoming a member.
Yeah.
Well, the plan, going back to, I think, to the original question when I asked you what the original question was before.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is what it was.
This was the question, an hour
Excuse
ago.
us, man, the white beards.
Yeah, the beards. Yeah, the purpose of this for the state of Utah is to make and have CVMA grow in a direction where we can have, granted we're hosting it,
Yeah.
but we want to put this out there to all the chapters, like have each one of the CEOs from now all the way through the end of the ride season, all the way past IMBK and everything. We want the other CEOs to come on. We want them to talk about it. We want them to bring their sergeant arms.
Right.
We want them to bring their XOs.
Yeah.
A member, if we want to move the location, we always don't, necessarily need to
Right,
do it
right.
here. We can,
We can do it wherever we want.
Yeah, we can be
I
mobile.
mean, it's our podcast. It's not necessarily only for 49.1, but that's the majority of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's a good thing. I think this is going to go places, and you'll see through time how much this will grow.
Yeah.
And I point at the screen because we're watching the actual YouTube channel on a different computer. But yeah, you'll see how much this changes. And when we go from scene to scene, to place, it's going to be so crazy.
Dynamic.
The story that I really want on here is somebody that says, I saw CVMA. I saw what they were doing. I like what they were doing. And it helped my brother. It helped my family. It helped what we're doing here within the state of Utah. And ultimately that is the goal, is to help veterans in Utah.
Yep.
Definitely. I mean, that's what it says on the back of our vest.
Yep.
Vets helping vets. That's the motto of the CVMA.
It's the mission, and I think we can execute that with effort from all the chapters.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
So I want to give a huge shout out to DJ BFG. He's a stud for putting this podcast on. He actually came to us and told us, hey, this is what I can do for you.
Right.
And we kind of ran with it. So without him, we wouldn't be able to do this. And for those of you that are watching, we'll get this pushed out. But I do want to say, absolutely super thank you for being professional and having us on this podcast. And we hope that it grows.
Oh, it'll do nothing but grow.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the total viewers were, but right now we're at 14, and that's really kind of odd for a very first podcast video or whatever live on YouTube to maintain between 10 and 14 viewers the whole time. Yeah. So read us out one of the what are some of the questions somebody's asking? Well, they're not really talking about questions right now. So someone says, well, I don't know if I should read that one.
That's typical CVMA.
So when you're in Utah or I'm in your AO, I'll throw down against your bike. They're talking about bike stuff right now.
I guarantee
Who was that?
that's Poppy. Guaranteed.
Bing, 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 bing. I wish I had my iPad hooked up.
He wants to race me so bad that it hurts, but what he doesn't realize is he's already lost.
So Jeremy says, well done, guys.
That's a bold statement, Cotton.
I'm down. Anytime, Poppy, you know it. I told you.
Jeremy says, well done, guys. I've enjoyed the podcast. Great job, DJ BFG. And look forward to working with you on your podcast to make it better or whatever.
Oh, he's saying it's shitty.
No. I think that this podcast is going to be what we make it, not what I make it. Because like I told you guys before we even touched the microphones tonight, it's your show. You tell me what you want. So I provide the ability to get on and talk. So this is our show. Where we take it is where it's going to go.
The really cool thing about this, and I hope everybody understands this one. Gash came to us, offered equipment, time out of his days. This is the sacrifice. This is what puts the message out there. There may be a veteran out there that sees this, and it turns into something for him. And that's what we want this to be, is something that
we're trying to get motivate the chapter to go out and help.
Yep. So
So I remember I got another podcast outside this one, but I'm not going to say the name.
To make a plug.
Nope, I'm not going to plug it. I'm not going to say the name. I do another
podcast. It's on
Pornhub. It's on. Well,
how do you know it's on Pornhub? I know we all know where you've been cruising.
He's the first star. He's the first guest. Yeah, bow, wow. Right. But anyway, my very first video I ever did on that's got over 100 views, and this is less than a month ago.
Nice.
And that was the 7-minute video of, hey, the blah, 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 starting my own podcast, whatever. So who knows where this is going to go. Guys, if you're watching right now, or if anyone you know watches it later, push the link out. Promote
Absolutely.
it.
Share it.
Yeah.
Share the hell out of it.
Once we get into it, we're going to start doing some Facebook Live stuff and
Right.
tailoring it in there. But for the first one, right on YouTube, I mean, it's solid. I think we did a good job, and appreciate everybody that's listening in and all the antics.
Because I can, as we are doing it on YouTube as well, I can broadcast it on both.
Yeah.
So we could do it on Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
And Pornhub.
And for Double Dutch, we could do it on Pornhub.
New road name.
Right.
What? Pornhub?
They don't call me Double Dutch for nothing.
Double clutch. Anyway, guys, I think that we're done, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's this right here is what I think is really going to get our message out there, and all the antics aside, and I love the antics. I mean, man, it's just that's
the brotherhood.
That's the brotherhood. This is the barracks talk. I mean, this is what people in our AO are hopefully that's what they're wanting to do. They're wanting to put something back in their life, what we all stepped away from, because the organization didn't leave us, we left it, and we all left it for different reasons. But at the end of the day, if you're a veteran and you are riding and you're trying to decide, what and who is the best fit for me, come check us out. I mean, do we just say, yes, we're the best fit for you? No, you need to make that decision, because, like we kind of our subtag, to everything is like, don't wear it on your back if it's not in your heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Just, I mean, this is something that, even as a chapter officer, you have to give up, hours of your time, hours, money, time, away from your family and other friends and stuff like that, because we've all got other portions of our life that, we have responsibilities for. So if you step into this, you gotta be willing to dedicate something, sacrifice some stuff to it.
Jeremy was saying he's got a question about Silver Fox, but he hasn't asked it yet.
Oh,
he said, hey,
that's a different
ask
podcast.
K-Bar about the name Silver Fox. We're gonna have to cover that one on the next podcast.
That's an entire.
I can tell that story.
Give about a 30-second commercial on that.
You got a 30-second. Go.
All I'm gonna say, meth head on a dirty naughty schoolgirl ride, and she pushed Kendall out of the way, and she didn't want anything with anybody, and she called him Silver Fox. Went to Black Sheep. The waitress at Black Sheep said, "Ooh, look at this Silver Fox! 2 times in one day." Our CEO
he should have that
Silver
tattooed.
Fox. So the next time that somebody that's not a member calls him Silver Fox, he gets that road name. Silver Fox.
Yes.
That was actually my porn name up in Canada.
See, there we go.
Hey, thanks.
We'll get cut off on YouTube for playing that kind of music, because their algorithms will freaking hear it. And
yeah. So
hey,
cool. Let's wrap it up, and thanks everybody, and we'll catch you.
Yep.
We're gonna try and do this schedule. We're gonna try and schedule this out.
Yeah.
About every other week. So hit up Command for if you want to be on the show.
Definitely.
Some details on that.
Yep.
Hit up Command, and we'll
come up with something.
We'll come up with something, get you on the show.
And it's not always going to be right here.
No.
We'll do it other places. I'd like to do it in your garage at one time too, with the backdrop and a bike up on the lift.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Hopefully
we do that.
So anyway, as YouTubers say, I'm not a YouTuber, but like it, subscribe, hit the bell.
Subscribe.
I don't have the little pop-ups that all the other guys have.
My daughter.
That's not what I'm about.
She pretends like she's on YouTube, and she always says, "Okay, everybody, make sure you subscribe."
I wish we should have. Why didn't you take a picture of that?
Oh, I know, right?
He's always
on.
Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Not every podcast is going to be an hour and 47 minutes. Some will be an hour, some will be longer. Who knows? We'll see you on the next episode in about 2 weeks or so.
Yep.
So
peace out.
Thanks for joining. We'll see you later, guys.
Thanks, man.